In the shadow of decay I rise, typhus the herald beneath poison skies. With nervous rods I lay walls to waste, the reaper's scythe no life can escape. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death, God where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand, rivers of filth drown the land. I am typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. Light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth, carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death, God where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand, rivers of filth drown the land. I am typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth, carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death, God where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand, rivers of filth drown the land. I am typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. Play with how the gassing walls, whistling tides, new life is born. Nurgle's passing, a twisted grace. I embrace your heart in my cold embrace. Fear the plague fleet, fear the end. No salvation, no let to defend. I am typhus, reaper of dread. Bow to Nurgle, embrace the dead.
And boom, here we are. Hello, everybody, and welcome to an episode of the Disgustingly Resilient podcast. Joined myself today with Mr. Dave, Mr. Death Guard Dave. How are you doing, Mr. Dave?
Very, very good. How are you, Aidan? Are you well?
I'm good. I'm excited to get a plague surgery back on because it's been a little while.
Yeah,
we
me
had
too.
a bit of a downtime because there was no real reason to do plague surgery when you know your curse is about to come out.
That is one reason. The other reason was that there's almost 11,700 members now in the subscribers on the channel.
Yeah, which makes it a little bit harder to manage. So we'll talk about all that stuff soon. We've already got some shout. I'm going to go straight into the shout-outs because we've already had a couple of people met.
Get straight in there.
So Bakuba Christian became a Death Shroud absolute legend. Thank you so much. Ryan Harris, thank you also for becoming a Plague remake. Really appreciate it. Once again, make sure you guys get inside the Discord. Spinach also going to Death Shroud, and William Hetling going to Blight Lord tier. Thank you so much. So for those who don't know, this is the Plague Surgery stream where basically, if you are new here, hi, I'm in. That's Dave. This is where we go for our YouTube members. So any of our paying members can submit the list to the Plague Surgery at Plague Marine tier, and then we've also got a Blight Surgery for the Death Shroud and Blight Lords. Now, we have had to change up how we used to do it. Basically, Blight Lords and Death Shroud get sort of priority on getting the lists looked at, but then we will also pick out some random Plague Marines ones. Unfortunately, there is just myself and Dave here. This is not our full-time jobs. We'd love to sit here all day and go through lists 24/7 for you all, but we have to just do the best we can. But we will try and get through as many as possible without just making you feel like you're not getting value. We won't just be like, yeah, cool, this next one.
And I think we'll come up with a system, won't we, Aidan, to make sure that we kind of cycle through people's lists where we can, and make sure that there's not you've got a better chance each week of kind of having your list reviewed. Yeah.
So one thing we would ask for the people who are submitting is just be aware, try and keep it to like one list submission a month if possible for yourself. Because again, we've got so many members, we need to try and make sure we have a fair run to try and get through as many different people as possible. So if you're going to submit a list, make sure it's the one you want to be reviewed. If you're not sure on it, maybe wait for next week to submit it till you're really sure on like what you want reviewing. But we're doing our best here, so please bear with us on that one. And thank you very much again to Taj for the one gifted membership there as well. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate it. So cool. Everyone seems to be happy actually with the sound volumes today. We're good, Dave. We're doing well.
Amazing. We've started well. Great. Good choice. Let's hope it continues.
Yes. Good. So Charlie again with the $4.99 super chat. This is the Charlie that won the giveaway for the coaching session from Vanguard Tactics, Mr. Dave. I had a coaching session earlier this week with him. So he put in, Aidan, thanks for the coaching this week. Smoked my 2 opponents at the store yesterday with the VV tactics we discussed. You're the man. I'm glad it worked, mate. I'm really glad to hear that, mate. Well done. Congrats.
I'm not surprised if this man was telling you what to do.
I wish to bully my friends. Let us go. Thank you. Really appreciate it. So we are doing very good, Noir. I have been having a nice weekend. I so far have been painting up my Lord of Poxes. He's not done just yet. I can't have the camera over and the light over. No, you're not going to be able to see him there. I'll put pictures in the Discord, but he's getting there.
Very nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm just on model front. I sent you a picture of it in the WhatsApp, but I found a really cool. It's actually, I think, an Age of Sigmar kind of looking character, but he's all gut rot, but he's all like split, and like there's like the guys kind of modeled it with some tentacles and stuff coming out, and he's got a huge axe. So I think he's going to make a nice a nice kind of potential Lord of Contagion or something. So just in case I want to swap around something for a nice fun look. So yeah, picked up
on a 50mm base, right, Dave?
Yeah, of course, because that's what these things are supposed to be on.
Yeah, because if a tournament tries to tell me to put my Lord of Contagion on a 40mm base, I will swing at someone because I'm not unbasing my Lord of Contagion.
No, I'm not. Like, why would I? Like, I mean, it's got a nice base on it.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, just rip it off and rebase it. No, he's in a nice base. He's a nice little tactical rock.
Also, he's a monster. He should be on a 50mm base.
He definitely deserves it. He definitely deserves to be on a 50mm base. You put him on a 40mm base, he overhangs it like mad. It looks so goofy.
So I was watching a War Games Live game today, and it was the final over at the Rocky Mountain or Rocky Open over in the US. And I think that, and where the Great Unclean One on the Nurgle Demons side, the winner, well done by the way, it was a great game. He would have lost the Great Unclean One if the Lord of Contagion could have gotten in, but his base was too wide to fit between a Carnivore and Mortarion. If he'd been on a 40mm base, and I can tell you he would have been in.
No, Gabriel Nixon. That was his mistake. That was an awful, unlucky game. That Great Unclean One exploded and did 26 mortal wounds to his entire
26
army.
Out of a possible 30 mortals.
Yeah, that was so unlucky. But it was the nice game we played, though. It was a great game.
You did a great game.
You did really well to get there, Gabriel. Just, again, sometimes the dice say
with index as well, by the way.
Index Death Guard, so not even on the new stuff yet. And he's already done a 5-0 or 6-0 on the new index as well, which I'll be covering Infection Critical. So he's on the new codex, so he's doing really well. So looking forward to hearing from him more soon. So, just before we get into these surgery, we have a couple things to just talk about for upcoming channel. Where do you want to start, Dave?
I mean, you choose. I think we could go anywhere because should we start with channel stuff first, perhaps?
Yeah, we'll start with channel stuff. So, bear with us, guys. Do apologize. We've got to get through this real quickly.
Don't worry, we are going to be on for an hour and a half tonight.
We are staying on for longer tonight, so we've got more time to go through a list. So, and I'll be doing another one in the midweek next week to try and make sure everyone gets seen too. So, first up, we are decided as a channel, and also as myself, to focus on. So normally it's 2 things. Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Good shout, Taj. Good shout. There's 2 things normally I'm split between. One is focusing on trying to become like rank 1 Death Guard player in the world. Second one has been ends a bit with content creation, because the reality is, to be like rank 1 Death Guard, I want to like get the best list and just spam the shit out of it. Don't want to be doing that. So we're deciding this year. We're obviously still going to do the best we can, but we're going to focus on the channel mainly. In aid to do this, we have gone out and bought a very nice, if somewhat expensive, camera setup. And the idea is that we will be making battle reports over at Element Games. So it won't be like studio quality like you'd expect from Vanguard Tactics or anything like that, but hopefully we guys can make some battle reports for you guys for our games and our practice stuff. I know, Dave, you picked up a little camera for yourself as well. So we're hoping that we can give you guys some on-the-table action with us playing our games, basically. So it won't be a full, 3 hours recorded sat there. It'll be just more like, here's like top-of-turn overview. Here's my plans where I'm going to move in. Some key roles, maybe, and then sort of like seeing the thought process. So the idea trying to be like, we're trying to make the channel grow and expand and get better and better and better. And the natural next step for us is to try and give you some fun battle reports. How frequent they'll be, not too sure yet. Again, driving lessons when I finish them should hopefully make that a lot easier to do. It's easy for me to get to games. But yeah, we're trying to, again, like I said, we're putting the care about ranks to the side for now. We're focusing on getting the channel as big as it can be. And in doing so, also, I'm going to make sure that my events I go to this year, I'm going to go to one with every single detachment and try and do the best I can with every single one. So that is on my agenda. Now, Dave, you've been doing something called a Little Crusade Boy, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've basically played now in 2 Crusades with my club. Who have a couple of the guys have gone to the extreme management, basically like dungeon mastering a whole crusade between both Chaos and Xenos and Imperials previously, and then in this one it's been Chaos and Imperials. So I'm playing round, I think it's 8, and it's a final round. Death Guard undefeated, everyone. On Friday. So I've had a bit of Crusade experience now. So what I'm going to do is I've put a little place. I'm going to get into the book, and I'm going to make a video on the Crusade for Death Guard rules for our new Codex book. And then what we do is we'll get that out, and then we can do a live or stream, set up a channel within the Discord to talk about Crusade for people who want to know about it. And yeah, we'll use that as a way once again to cover a slightly different aspect, not just purely competitive, but getting into a bit more narrative as well.
Yeah, so we are first and foremost obviously a competitive Death Guard channel, but we do understand a lot of people who listen to this are not always tournaments regular. Sometimes they just go to have fun, but there are some people who just want to play Death Guard at a good level or understand some things about Death Guard. So we want to make sure that we cover like people who do Crusade content. We've got a little something for them as well. And on speaking of a narrative front and some fluffy front, Dave, you've been a busy bunny, haven't you?
I have. So I'm basically taking on a little bit of the mantle of guest booker. So we've got a couple of things coming up. So we will drop a part of a video for this later on. But we have 2 guests coming up, don't we, Aidan?
We do indeed have 2 guests.
So we have a guest from the almost 500,000 YouTube subscriber channel Play On. Tycho, the Child of Chaos himself, is going to be coming on the channel on Tuesday for a live stream. So there'll be more about that in the Discord to talk about. But Tycho is going to come on and talk about all good things with us, which is going to be amazing. So he'll be live from Play On Studio in Canada. And then a bit later on in June, I've got the date confirmed, but I'm just making sure it's all 100%. Who wrote the End and the Death trilogy, Aidan?
Oh, that Dan Abnett fellow, yeah.
Dan Abnett fellow, yeah. I think most people might know who he is. So Dan Abnett's going to come on the channel for an interview. And that is going to be in June. That's going to be in June. So he's been really great. I reached out to him a little while ago. He came back to me. We're now chatting a lot, and Dan's going to come on the channel and talk about all things kind of 40k lore-y, and then we're going to get into Death Guard elements of it. So it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. So we're going to literally have like the guy who literally wrote so many books of Warhammer, and literally the most pivotal moment of Warhammer lore, the end and the death.
The culmination of all of the Horus Heresy.
And the beginning of all of 40k.
And the beginning of 40k.
So he's going to come on. And the one cool thing we're going to do is we're going to have a little, we're going to open a thread up on our Discord for our members. So if you are a member, we're going to open it to questions. So obviously, if you guys put 200 questions in, we can't ask them all. But me and Dave will sift through, pick out the ones we really like, and we'll make sure we try and get them across in the interview with Mr. Dan Abnett. So we are very excited at the potential of that. Like I said, we've got to fully confirm it. Dave's working on that, but he's very confident that we're going to get that.
Oh no, it is 100% happening. It's just the date, which I'm just waiting on the final. Like we've bounced it already back and forth with so I'm just like, just confirm your app, just absolutely for this, and I'll send you an invite to it. So it's going to be in June. It's going to be great. And off the back of this as well, I would like to say expect that I will be out hunting for more guests. That we're not going to flood. We're not going to flood the channel with guests, but there might be like once a month we're going to might try and get someone in to come in who's connected to Death Guard in a way of like lore or another channel, or somebody who can bring a bit of our greenish tinge to the universe in a slightly different manner that isn't just lists or strategy or playing tabletop.
That'd be awesome. Bazaros has upgraded his membership to Death Strap, that Dan Abnett work. Legend. That magic word kicking in already. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate it. Thanks, man. So yeah, let's get into the meat and potatoes anyway, because we've already took 10 minutes of your time listening to me and Dave waffle around with what our plans for the upcoming content is. But again, keep an eye out, keep an ear out, so keep updated, because that'd be really cool. And yeah, if you have any suggestions as well, Cyberware's put a name in the chat there, because right, again, feel free to put out suggestions, even the Discord on here. We'll try our best to see what we can do. That would be really cool. I knew that name was going to come from Lords of Silence book. We'll see. What I can tell
you is I've already reached out.
Of course you have. Right, let's get into some lists then, Mr. Dave. So let me
before we get into lists.
Oh, go on.
We're gonna get some serious. We're gonna get serious about this.
You got your very serious glasses on.
Let's get our surgery doctor's glasses on now. Next patient.
Okay, next patient. Okay, so first patient we got up. So this I think was Metal Singer. I think it was. This was in the Plague Surgery, and I've copied it over before I deleted the channel and remade them all. So we've got the Defiler duo. So this is Mortarian's Hammer list. So we've got a Lord of Contagion with the Shriekworm Familiar, which I believe is the free Overwatch, Mr. Dave. 2 Lord of Contagions, one with the upgrade, obviously one without. Then we have a Lord of Virulence with the Tendrillus Emissions. This is the Lone Up ability with the real ones to wound for vehicles nearby. Then we've also got a Tallyman, probably going to sit on home. 1 unit of Chaos Spawn. 2 units of 3 units of 3 Death Shroud Terminators, so 2 to go with a Lord of Contagions, 1 to go in his Todd.
Absolutely.
The Defiler Duo, it's what it's named after, with Twin Heavy Bolter and Defiler Scourges. Then we've got 1 Flesh Mower, 2 Flesh Mower, 3 Heavy Blight Launcher Drones, 2 Mythic Blight Halls, and 2 units of Poxwalkers. That's actually a really good spread of stuff, I won't lie.
It's a really good spread list. You can really see you've got lots of opportunities to score some points. You've got lots of opportunities to drop down in nasty ways on top of people. Some stripping cover capability in there, which is always a brilliant thing. And then so I guess we've got 5 drones.
So we've got 5 drones. Yeah, we've got 3 of the Blight Launchers, 2 of the Flesh Mowers.
Lovely.
And then we've also got 2 battles. So we've got right there. We've got what 7, 8. 3 plus 2 plus 2, 7. 7 small 90-point Demon Engine hulls, which is already a lot to chew through. Backed up then by 2 massive Defilers and 3 squads of Death Shroud. Still only not even giving up that much on the scoring front. We've got 2 units of Poxwalkers and a Chaos Spawn unit. And we've got a Taliban to hold home, which means we can play outside of deployment with the Poxwalkers in certain matchups. One thing I will say is, don't rely on your Tallyman solo, though, to just guard your backfield against, like, uppy-downy factions.
Yeah, you can have to put something in there.
Yeah, you have to be a little careful. So maybe just for that match, pull back a Poxwalker instead. But there is a lot of good stuff here. One thing I'll say is the Shriekworm Familiar
is free Overwatch.
Free Overwatch, we like that, yeah. That's fine. Again, normally tend to put that in a lot of virulence, but I understand up to 2 Lord of Contagions here. You've got 2 big smash character units that can go in and punch stuff. You've still also got the spare Death Shroud Terminator squad that can just go in on its own and kill something. Honestly, it's a really straightforward, it's Morty's Hammer. It's exactly what you want. I actually really like the Flesh Mower editions here because it gives you a bit more forward pressure. I see a lot of games, Dave, with Morty's Hammer getting lost because they're focusing too much on the gun line and not enough of the ability to push out and actually go into and attack people. I'm not sure if you've experienced the same thing, but having those little Flesh Mowers there that can sort of do that thing gives you those more options to play aggressively.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think the Flesh Mower drones in the mix almost become, I don't mean this dismissively, but almost disposable in terms of throwing them out, like, because you've got 3 others at back that can just sit happily dropping fire onto anything that comes around to deal with them. They're really good. I've been using the term fishing lure a lot recently with Death Guard as a way to get people to come out to then do what you need to on them. The other thing I would comment on is this list does immediately give up. Bring it down becomes a possible fixed option against it. I think it's pretty close to max. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 characters, a Tallyman at the back, potentially easy to pick up with something if you don't guard the back easily enough, or to get mortared off. And then your other 3 characters are nicely wrapped up inside Death Shroud, which is good, but they're going to be forward. which does mean that you have got a risk of potentially losing a character, a turn if things go bad. So I think that's the other thing to consider with it is we know how you can turn fixed against your opponent by playing certain ways, which is great. So just another one to think about on that front, depending on what you're running into.
Yeah, I think the only things, because the good thing about the flesh, as Dave said, the good thing about the flesh mowers is that fishing aspect. So in order for something to probably kill a flesh mower, they're having to send out like a decent asset or usually an anti-tank asset. And as long as Morty's hammer, you just need your opponent to run out of anti-tank assets before you run out of tank assets, and then you can go bully the entire board at that point. And you've got the 3 squad Death Shroud. I can't believe there's 3 squad Death Shroud in here as well. These guys are too cheap. Way too cheap at the moment.
So good.
But then that being said, the Defilers are also probably actually more egregiously cheap. They probably need to go up 20 compared to like Death Shroud's 10.
Yes.
Very cheap.
Yes.
Now, I don't actually know if there's too much a change here, to be honest, Dave, because it's got a really nice base of scoring. I always like to start my list off with 2 Poxwalker, 1 Spawn, because that's just a nice little scoring package.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's already got that in. He's got the 3 Death Shreds that are going to constantly be interrupting sort of like your opponent's natural, and anything that walks out into the open is going to get absolutely shot off to bits. The one thing I'd say might be something to consider here is I just want you to consider what's holding your natural.
Yeah.
Because if there is a fast moving, or as I've been doing recently, I've played some test games against other Death Guard playing Mortarian's Hammer. I'm playing a very MSU heavy Plague Marine Virulent Vectoran build, and I just park a little Rhino
you can do it.
and I just drop 5 Marines on their objective every time. I'm like, cool, there's 10 OC, do something about it. And I managed to keep the primary so low, and then because I've got sticky, they can't shoot me off as easy. I just work on screening out Death Shroud, getting onto my natural, and then I'm up 10 to their 5 every turn. So have a consideration about what you might need, because you've already got so much disruption, because you've got the flesh mowers that can disrupt, and you've got 3 squads of Death Shroud. My question would be, is it worth at a certain point maybe dropping the 3rd Death Shroud squad and just getting something to shore up your home objective? Like you could go, like even 5 Marines for FBS. I know you need to find some extra points there, but I'd consider dropping Shriekworm Familiar if that would get me a unit. I'd rather like drop the 3 Overwatch, because it's not a lot of Virulence squad, so it's not getting the best value out of that, in my opinion. So I'd actually drop the Shriekworm Familiar if that got me an upgrade or a better unit elsewhere, would be one thing I'd say. Because that'd be what, 140 points, 155 points, then it's 95 points plus 60 points for the Foul Blight spawn. So you can get 5 Marines in a Foul Blight spawn.
Yeah, that's pretty decent. I mean, the other thing you could, no, that's a good one. The other thing you could do is you could dropping the Death Shroud unit itself, which still gives you options of what to attach with characters. That gives you another 10 Poxwalkers and another 2 Chaos Spawn. So that's a really easy to drop, to dedicate 10 Poxwalkers to your home, as well as the Tallyman, and then have another unit to throw out and score, and still keep all of your drones, both your Defilers and both of your Mephitic Blightholders. So you still keep all your anti-tank, all your ability to pop transports, and you still got a character hanging around, which you could use to then drop in. I mean, you could even consider swapping. I mean, realistically, you then change one of the Lords of Contagion to maybe. You could maybe change to Typhus even, and then use him to drop in for a drop in for Mortals mid board if you need it, or that threat on the home.
Yeah, because one thing we got to consider here is, I mean, it's not the worst for actions because we don't actually mind stuff like a hauler doing an action, but just do bear in mind with your. I mean, you actually know you're alright. Like you said, Typhus is really good for actions because you can still contribute and action, but the 2 Poxwalkers do help. So. I think overall this list will do really well. I think the only thing I just ask you to consider would just be about making sure your actual natural objective has enough stuff on it to defend it. So just be aware of that. Be careful of MSU fast-moving high OC armies because they'll just keep your primary down. So par that though, really solid list, really like it, and I think you'll do really well with that. Yep. All right, next one. Do you want to take this one, Mr. Dave? Go for Tentacles?
Yeah. Aiden just had a request saying, could you be a little louder? But could the rest of the chat could just comment as to whether that's a individual thing or not. Not saying it is, Jonathan, but just worth checking. Tentacles is okay. So Tentacles list is called Virile and Virulent. As you know, we like pun names in our list and actively encourage our community to put fun names into your list. So please do. The list consists of it's 2,000 points and it's V squared, as I like to call it at the moment. So Virulent Vectorum. It's Biologist Putrefier. It is a Demon Prince of Nurgle with Revolting Regeneration. So very nice. We've got the Lord of Contagion with Demon Weapon of Nurgle.
So it's 5
We have a
crits.
Lord of
Okay.
5+ crit, yeah. We've got Lord of Virulence. We have got a Malignant Plaguecaster. So I think we can see probably what's going to be coming down a bit further down the list. 10 Plague Marines, unsurprising, with Melter Guns, 3 Heavy Plague Weapons, 2 Plague Spewers, 2 Blight Launchers, a Plasma Gun, and a Power Fist on the champ. Then they've got a nice Rhino for themselves. So we've got the Killer Mega Bomb there, the Death Bong 1, or as we like to call it, or Death Bong 2, depending on where you won the game. Predator Destructor ×2 with both with las cannons on the sponsons. We've got 2 Chaos Spawn units. We have a unit of Death Shroud Terminators in a 3. We have got a Bloat Drone with Spitters, a Bloat Drone with Spitters, and then triple Heavy Blight Launcher drones and 2 units of Pox. So I think the good thing is the 2 units of Pox, I think minimum we're going to see hopefully in every single one of these, which I think is like Aiden said is the new standard, and most likely 3 Heavy Blight Launcher drones. But pretty good in a nice way. Unexpected VV list, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, I have just turned myself up a bit, so hopefully that's a bit better. So when it comes to VV, yeah, you've got all the staples in there. You've got the really scary 10-man Plague Marine that just kind of like deletes anything that looks out with its Rhino. You've got the Demon Prince with the Feel No Pain. You have a Lord of Contagion Smash Squad with the Demon Weapon of Nurgle. That's either Demon Weapon of Nurgle or Furnace of Plagues normally. Both are fine. We actually did the maths on it in the channel. It actually doesn't make too much difference. Basically, Furnace of Plagues tends to be better. Just about, though. Not overly much, but it does have to give you access to Dev Wounds, so against Invulns, it is far better. But when it comes to T12 models, Demon Weapon of Nurgle, because it crits on the 5s with lethal, actually starts to slowly take over at that point. So T30
it's bear only, right?
Yes, it's just bear only.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, oh god, if that wasn't bear only, if it was crit 5's entire squad, Jesus Christ.
If it had that, I'd be running V squared with my DLC list.
So then we got like the 10 Plague Marines, then we got the 2 Predators, as you said. So they got las cannon weapons on there. So we always talk about las cannons and heavy bolters. We don't really think there's necessarily a bad option per se, do we, Dave? Because I mean,
no, not really.
We look at it this way. Heavy bolters are consistent. Because of the lethal and the sustained, you will average put 2 to 4 damage on an enemy vehicle. Like, fairly reliably. I'm very surprised if they do 0. They usually do 2 to 4 damage. Now, they can spike and do more. But las cannons are a lot more explosive. They either do literally 0, because you only get 2 shots. Or, again, you could literally one-tap something. So, just when it comes to you as a player, the only thing I'd consider with the las cannons is, obviously, how many vehicles is there? How much infantry is there? But also just think to yourself a bit, how much reliability do I want off a unit? Because if you're okay with the chance that you might just one-tap a vehicle, take the las cannons. But if you would rather just have the knowledge that you consistently put 4 damage to 2 damage to a vehicle, take the heavy bolters. Neither are worse than the other. Like, realistically, it's just kind of your personal preference, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, what's changed the conversation on las and heavy bolter are the heavy blight launcher drones.
Yeah.
Is the fact that they've got lethal and they're flat 3 damage, and you can re-roll your hit roll with the LOV on the table, just means that these things are not only great natively without any of that stuff, popping transports, but actually you get lethals into a tank, a good tank at AP2, and if you've got it especially if you've got it in contagion, and you're maybe adding -1 save to it already, those things are reliable tank killers as well.
Yeah.
So that's where the conversation goes. Are you better off with 3 of those things floating around the table to then have a good anti-elite infantry or good mass infantry tank on the table on your side? Because 2 heavy plague bolters and an autocannon in half range and a havoc launcher and combi bolters is better than a heavy blight launcher drone into a squad of 10 infantry. So that's what you got to think about. Like Aiden said, it depends on your play style. It depends on what maybe your meta is, or if it's UKTC and that's you're competitively playing. That's a bit of a less relevant question, but that would be where I would be thinking, what are my drones not able to do that I need my predators to fill the gap for? Because predators are flexible loadout, the drones are not.
Yeah, agreed. I think as we go down here, we've got 2 units of Chaos Bomb, which is good for like secondary play. We've got our Death Shroud removal brick, which we always like to have at least 1 of them of. 2 Fetid Bloodrunners. Now, the one thing I will say is, in my Virulent Vectorum list, I felt that my ability to pressure my opponent's natural was a bit too limited. So I actually don't mind these bloat drones being in here. I think they do that role of harassing the opponent's natural really well. We like that. My biggest issue with this list as I look at it is the only infantry you have that will be on the board at the start is 2 Poxwalkers, and one of them's going to be in your home objective because you don't have a Tallyman, so one of them's going to be there. The other one is then basically got an anchor around its leg to the Demon Prince, because the Demon Prince is not loan up unless you've got an infantry within 3 of it, and Spawn a beast, so Spawn can't loan up a Demon Prince. Now, that means you basically have no infiltrate plays at all, because you can't infiltrate and risk losing them, otherwise you won't get any loan up. And the thing that makes the Demon Prince so powerful is the fact that he's a toughness 12 loan up. It's so stupid to even exist. So my initial thought right here is we need to get another unit of infantry into this list that can just sit behind an L towards the middle and basically just give the love to the Demon Prince, to give him the loan up. I
think it's good. Yeah.
So the considerations for that are, obviously you could cut out a spawn. I honestly think 1 spawn is more than enough, especially when you've got 2 fetid bloat drones with the spitters who can be aggressive. So you could drop a spawn and get a Poxwalker, and then maybe upgrade Demon Weapon and Nurgle to what do you call it? The Furnace of Plagues.
Furnace of Plagues, yeah.
Alternatively, what you could also potentially do here is go for the because I mean you got the LOV. So I'm this is interesting. You have an LOV solo. The problem with this though is that means the millisecond the LOV wants to get use out of its rule with the bloat drones, he then becomes eligible to just be shot and killed, which then means your Demon Prince can then be shot, which I don't like. That's a bit risky for me.
I agree. I think I was looking at this too, saying what I think you always need with the Demon Prince in these lists is an ability to jump between almost like a couple of islands. To go, I'm loan up here, and then I jump over there, and I'm loan up there too, because you've already kind of staged it to set it up. Because then you could have Poxwalkers infiltrated over there, Poxwalkers, the other 10 are probably on your home or whatever, and then, like you said, another infantry unit ready to move to somewhere else on the table so that he can do that bounce.
Yeah. So one thing you can do as well is also chop a spawn again, and you could consider chopping him out for a single solo Foul Blight spawn, because the Foul Blight spawn can exist behind a wall in the middle L, and all you can do is 10 Poxwalkers. But the reason I like the Blight spawn as well, even solo, is a 9-inch aura of no advance ending. That means that it's even more defense for your Demon Prince, because now no one can even advance and charge him. So if you just tippy-toe the middle objective, as far away from your opponent as possible, if they want to get a reliable charge on a lot of the terrain layouts, they're going to be having to sort of either rely on high movement like movement 12 jump packs, or there's a lot of units in the game that want to like move, advance, and shoot. Think Fire Dragons, they want to move out of transport, move, advance, shoot you with the assault melter guns. Now they can't get within 9 on that, which is really good. As Dave, you've played Morty a lot. I know it's not the same ability. You can move in 9, but the same thing is if you move in 9, you get punished with Morty, and you've seen people just refuse to move in 9. So now imagine saying you can't move within 9 or advance within 9. So that's, and because he's infantry and he doesn't need to be exposed to get the value out of that ability, he can sit in the corner of a ruin, protect the Demon Prince, and also provide him with that 9-inch bubble of nothing can advance near him, which would be really nice, because it stops you getting gangbanged by Emperor's Children, Demon Princes, as Sam tried his best. So I mean that's the only real change I'm looking at this list though. I just want to get some form of infantry with that Demon Prince, whether it's just Poxwalkers, so swap the spawn for Poxwalkers, or if it's like a Foul Blight spawn cheeky play, because I want to use the LOV rule, but using his rule exposes not just himself, but in this list also potentially exposes your Demon Prince to being shot, and that's not something I feel comfortable with. I think that's the only thing I'm looking at potentially changing though. Dave, anything else scream out to you?
No, I was with you on another infantry unit. Yeah, I mean, it's weird in this list. I'm not a big, if I'm honest, I'm not a huge fan of 2 Plague Spitter drones on top of everything else that's in here.
Okay.
I think I would probably change. Like I said, if I moved one of the Predators to a Plague Bolter version, then I think I would probably go. I've got 90 points kicking around in one of those drones to either turn it into maybe to a flesh mower, so it's a bit more of like we talked about in the last list, a piece to throw forward and just kind of go fishing with, or to get onto a point early or something. But yeah, that'd be. I mean, it's pretty solid. Otherwise, but yeah, that would be my other one to look at. Is do you need 2 spitters if depending on what configuration you end up with on your Preds?
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. Have we got some more people to shout out in the chat there, Mr. Dave, while I get the next list?
Yeah, you put the list and I'll cover those. So, Ventress Dark, double A, welcome to being a Blight Lord. Thank you for joining us. That is amazing. Tom Murphy upgraded to a Dash Shroud. Awesome. Thank you so much. You will not only now have access to, you usually need to log out of Discord and log back in if you're not seeing the changes, just as a FYI to everyone who's upgrading. It then will automatically change your details. You then will get access to the two different the channels and obviously play surgery going forward, which is great. Jay also has upgraded membership to a Death Shroud. So thank you very much. That means a world. Thanks for supporting the channel. Really, really good. Did have one really funny comment I wanted to read out, which was so Cobble LMAO asked, "Hello, finally made it." So random question. Because of my ignorant American brain, he asks, "What is a Reginald Rusty?"
Oh God! Well, I'll tell you
what video was he last on?
He was on the Codex review stream, I think.
The first Codex review?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, go and check out the first Codex review stream. I think it probably was on there actually, and you more hear Reginald Rusty than see it. But Reginald Rusty is a person. You'll have to go and listen out for him. That's what I'll say.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So, Bazos, I have put a list in Plague Surgery. Shall I move it to the Blight Surgery? If you've just become a Death Shroud / which you have, I would probably copy paste your message into the Blight Surgery because it's just going to mean that we'll look at it and we'll get seen to it. So, this one is Champions of Contagion. So we've got Demon Prince of Nurgle. So obviously don't have the Feel No Pain now, but it's still a really good unit. Lord of Contagion with 3 Death Shroud Terminators, a Lord of Virulence with 3 Death Shroud Terminators, Lord of Poxy's rocking the Cornophacargus. He's the extra contagion that he always has. So okay, cool. So he's gonna always be rocking -1 to hit. Again, don't lock that in on your list. Just pick at the start of your battle. Don't worry about it because it might not need -1 to hit. You never know.
You never know.
Plague Surgeon with the Needle of Nurgle. Okay, cool. Okay, and then we've got 10 Plague Marines with 2 Spewers and 7 Heavy Weapons. So bear in mind, you can't have 7 Heavy Weapons. So I'm guessing that means probably meant to say 4 Heavy Weapons, rest be biotic, like full melee.
Yeah.
So just beware of that. Then we've got a Biologist Putrefy with the final ingredient and a Malignant Playcaster in a...
Okay, cool.
Okay, so this right here, I'm just going to instantly swap this round.
Do it.
You don't want the Biologist Putrefy and the Malignant Playcaster with final ingredient in your mega shooty kill squad, because final ingredient needs you to punch a character to death.
Eat something to death, yeah.
And I promise you now, if you shoot a Biologist Putrefy and a Malignant Playcaster at a unit with crit 5s and lethal sustained, they're probably just going to die from the guns, I'll be honest with you.
It won't be there, yeah.
So you might want to just consider, I'm not saying it's bad, you just might want to consider swapping the squads around there, that's all. Because bear in mind, I get why you want him in there, but just be aware, if you're going to go for a final ingredient kill, maybe don't shoot all your guns. Just maybe just a little gun, a little bit.
Save one left, and then go and just hit it.
Yeah. So just be a little careful of that one.
Aidan, do you just want to tell for people who are not maybe familiar with what Needle of Nurgle is?
Yeah. So Needle of Nurgle is whenever the Plague Surgeon uses his rule, which resurrects a bodyguard and also a Plague Marine, he can instead resurrect D3. So you could still get 1, but you could also get 3 potentially back. So it's the only way I would ever consider running a Plague Surgeon. I'll be honest with you.
Definitely.
But I don't actually mind it in here because you've got a lot of Poxes with the -1 to hit always on, because that's what you said you take him. Yep. So one bang in this unit, especially if you're going to make him toughness 8, it's going to be quite hard for an opponent to do. So you're probably going to get value out of return dead models, as long as you don't do something excessively stupid with this unit. Like, if you go put it in front of an entire gunline army, it's going to die.
It's going to die.
But as long as you're not stupid, you don't leave it out in the open, there's a good chance you can just kill yourself out of line of sight, etc., and then be able to resurrect. So, actually fine with that. So we've got 2 big squads of Plague Marines with all the characters, bells and whistles. 2 small squads of Death Shroud. A Demon Prince of Nurgle.
Nice.
A Tallyman, a Rhino, Chaos Spawn. 2 Poxwalkers, and obviously the triple...
Trip Drone, yeah.
Trip Drone. Now, so here's the other thing as well that I'm going to say. You've got this big melee squad up here with a lot of Poxes. So you've got 18-inch loan up. You don't want to foot slog a melee squad. I know it sounds counterintuitive to the Lord of Pox's 18-inch loan up, but you still don't want to be foot slogging that because it's so easy to just stay 5 inches away from that unit. I would rather have 2 Rhinos, because especially when you're putting this many points in these units.
Agree.
I'd still rather give him a Rhino, I'll be honest with you. Now, You could obviously just drop the Chaos Bomb for that, but you are quite elite already because you've already got 2 massive squads of Plague Marines.
Yeah.
So just be aware that that is something that you might have an issue with at the moment. In my personal opinion. Now
we've got 10 points. We've got 10 points free already because it's a 1990 list.
Okay, so there you go. You spawn can instantly go to a Rhino, and you got 2 Rhinos.
Yes.
That's fine. So I don't mind that there. Now we've got the Demon Prince of Nurgle. So the Demon Prince of Nurgle could what? It could. We have got some infiltrating Poxwalkers. We do need to leave potentially one home. We've got Tallyman though, so we could potentially do it. So we do have some islands we can potentially jump between. But he's not going to be able to like just sit in the middle as you would in like Virulent Vectorum.
Yeah, and you're going to and if you I mean the other option you've obviously got is to do it. The point is when you bring a Rhino forward, and obviously you need to pre-plan this, but the other thing you've got an option is to move the Rhino first to get your Marines out in a place, and then you've got another jump to with your Demon Prince once those guys have disembarked. But obviously you can't do that until they have, because the Rhino's not infantry. You are definitely going to have to park something on your home. We have got
Tallyman.
Yeah, we've got Tallyman, but what I think you've got to be aware of when you're running just a Tallyman on your home is obviously you don't have to be exactly 9 to the corner, because usually an infiltrating unit is either smallest is going to be on something like a 40mm base, or potentially a little bit smaller if it's like an assassin. But usually, if your opponent's going to be dropping in a unit of 5 Terminators or 5 Marines or whatever, you've got yourself a good kind of 3 inches probably at least to then be like, back, which you can touch on a point. But if you're having to actually screen to a 9-inch edge pretty much, sometimes the way some of the boards are set up, you can't be touching onto your home objective.
Yeah.
And be screening with just a Tallyman. So that is something to think about depending on what you've got on your matchup. If it's fine and it's actually only a like a 10-inch or a 1410 or a 10-8 or whatever kind of home deployment objective marker, you will be able to touch on and do it. Or if your opponent's got no deep strikes, maybe they're playing something that doesn't have it, or they're not putting anything off the table, you can get away with it and you'll be fine. But you do need to consider that and how you're using one of those units of Poxwalkers to start with.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the only thing I'm not sold on this list, and it's annoying to say because I really like the unit, is possibly because we've already got 2 massive expensive bricks of especially like this one here.
Right, yeah.
This brick here, a lot of Pox and PlayStation has literally got, it's already expensive, and then you've got 60 points of enhancements on it as well. So that is now a 400 something, 190 for the brick, 85 for the rats, 275. The Lord of Poxes is now 110.
375, and then you've got and
then you've got another 75.
And then you've got a Rhino. It's a 450 odd point unit.
It's a lot. So we've got 1 brick there, 2 brick there with a second one. I don't think we can afford the Demon Prince and Nurgle, to be honest. I think we need more trading units, because the thing is, we need to initiate a trade, and right now there's nothing that can initiate a trade, and you don't want to be trading with Plague Marine unit. So I think in this specific list, I'd be looking at dropping Demon Prince and Nurgle for 2 of any kind of demon engine. Just where it's like Flesh Mowers would be great. Flesh Mowers great. Again, goes up, forces someone to deal with it. They have to come out, shoot it, and then you could trade back. Don't mind that at all. As Dave said before, they're great for that. But again, it depends if you're going to try and play that neutral game as well. Like your Demon Prince stands in the middle with Lone Op, and it's like, okay, opponent, do something about it. So you could potentially do that. If you're going to do that way, though, I really want you to potentially just swap out one of these for a Foul Blight spawn. Like, a lot of Pox is such a weird model. Honestly, I'd swap him out in this squad for a Foul Blight spawn and be much happier. Because that is gone down to 60 points from, 110. So there's 50 points back already. That's almost
10 points off at the beginning because we're 1990.
There's another unit Poxwalker, straight up scoring.
Yeah.
Boom. And then that unit doesn't necessarily need a Rhino then, because what you can do is you can do the Rhino trick where you can have this unit start in the Rhino, have the second unit start behind a wall near the Rhino. They turn 1 disembark, get into the middle ruin, just stage with that Foul Blight spawn, fight first, so nothing can charge it. And then the second squad then jumps in the Rhino and takes over, and that can drive off somewhere.
Yep.
So that might be something you could potentially look at there. And in that case, then I'll let you keep the Demon Prince. But I just worry about your ability to trade efficiently. That's my only thing.
Yeah, and like you always say, when you're playing these big bricks of Plague Marines, is and I'm not saying, by the way, that this isn't going to get played well, but if something goes wrong and that unit gets deleted, in this instance, you're talking a 25% of your army off the board, in a single unit's loss, which is not saying that is, that's good, but that's definitely something to think about. I mean, I'm even looking at going, do you take? Because I think you could do, if you're really desperate to keep the Demon Prince on the table, is you could lose one of the Death Shroud, and then use that plus the character to. I mean, you want to keep the Lord of. In this instance, you would keep the Lord of Virulence probably
just to support these things
there because you need to support the drones, but then that does give you another 250 points of scoring units, and you've still got two really big hitting. One melee, one shooting, with all the benefits that being in Champions gives you. Plus, then the Poxwalkers, drones. That it depends how desperate or how much you really want to put the Demon Prince on the table.
Yeah, but that's the only thing I really think you need to consider. You could also drop the LOV. I know Dave said we should keep with the Black Lords, which is 100% that is valid. The value he gives them is great. I'm actually running VV without an LOV at the moment. But again, it's because I've got loads of 5-man Plague Marines that just shoot way above what they should because one CP roll everything. So you could also you could potentially cut one of these out because then you've just got 3 spare Death Shroud that we can go trade for stuff a bit easier, plus while being annoying to kill. Or you could drop the like I said, you can Lord of on solo, 140 points there, plus the 10 you got from the missions, you got 150. Then you could literally then potentially, you kind of want the Taliban. I understand why the Taliban and the Demon Prince it's a very expensive detachment, but I don't think you need both.
Really, the other thing I'd maybe even look at with this is if you drop the Demon Prince and you then sank the 2 Death Shroud units together to make up 6, you've then basically got, not only have you got 195 points to spend on trading, you've then got 3 big hitting units supported by 3 heavy hitting drones. And the 2 Plague Marine units are wrapped up in Rhinos to start with for mobility. That would get you both units in Rhinos and 3 drones and 3 really big hitting units, one of which can drop in out of Deep Strike to smash whatever is needed. I think that might be a nice way of putting it potentially together.
You could still have 185 points to put in 2 flesh mode drones just for trading reasons. Yeah, okay, that also works. Yeah. There's a few ways to take it. I think just consider what we said there. Think about those different ways, play around with it as much as you want to see how it goes. Just be, like I said, aware at the moment, these big bricks are very expensive and you will have to play them on a knife's edge. All I want you to think about in this list is trying to get some form of trading unit in there. That's all I really want to see. I just want to see some form of unit to start trades, whether that means dropping the Demon Prince or if it means dropping something else. I just want to see you give your opponent a reason to put out a unit that you're going to then capitalize on by killing with your Plague Marine brick. Because the problem is that right now, if your opponent puts onto the middle objective, for example, opponent puts on the middle objective, what, Dave? 5 jump intercessors.
Yeah.
What are you killing it with?
Yep.
You got your blight drones, they could shoot that, that's fine, but then your bloat drones are going to start shooting more with their tanks, which is a little bit scary because they're not the toughest thing in the world. The spawn can't reliably kill them. They can do, but it's not reliable.
No.
And you definitely don't want to get any of these out of Rhino for that. So we definitely just need someone that can potentially kill. And like I said, a flesh mode drone, 90 points would do that. And it would also force out a much bigger reaction from your opponent. So consider those things, but it's still a really cool list. And I hope you do the best you can with this list. It's really cool. All right, on to the next one, Mr. Dave. So,
should we just do a quick
chat? Yeah, you go for chat. I'll load the next one.
Yeah, nice one, man. A couple of things in chat.
Everyone sent them in. Thank you for sending them in.
Yeah, every list, thank you. Keep them coming. We love seeing them and seeing what you guys are up to. We are early in this new book. So the way we are all going to learn from this, that includes us, is by seeing what you guys are doing and how things are going out in the field. So Prometheus William, thank you very much. Very, very long-term support of the channel.
Very long.
Sent one Disgustingly Resilient podcast gift membership. So that went to Rustin. Rustin, obviously I'm sure you have already, but please say thank you to Prometheus. That is amazing of you. He then sent another one as well, which Dax SPT got, which is great. And yeah, well, looking good. So I think that apart from that, there's a bit of chat internally about them talking. I'll just say this is just an interesting one based on what we just said. But Mr. Tenio said the main problems I had is that you are talking about right now is that the plague caster killed too much and the plague surgeon died too early. This is with us being so lethal and potentially with that wrap up, it is it's quite nasty.
Yeah, and for someone saying I really need to go pick up 3 heavy black launch drones, yes but no. do be aware they're probably going to get a points increase. I still think they'll be pretty good. I wouldn't be against buying 2 potentially.
Yeah.
But whether you want to go buy 3 right now when you've not even got them, you've not got them built, you've not got them painted, don't know if I'd run out and get 3 because we got to see some results coming. But one thing that is consistent in all the lists that are doing really well at the moment is those 3 heavy blight launcher drones.
Yeah, they're in every list.
So if anything does get hit, it's going to be them and 3-man Death Shrouds first, I think.
Yep.
So just be aware of that. All right, up next we got Taj. So Taj, Terminator Detachment. This is for you, Mr. Dave.
Yeah, let's have a look at this. So, Mortarion and the Pox Boys, one of the most popular bands of the early 41st millennium. We've got Mortarion, obviously, epic hero. Could see him in there. The Biological Putrefier, 2 Lords of Contagion, one with Warp Rot Talisman and one with Faces of Death. So Face of Death makes your opponent take a Battle Shock test, and your Dash Shroud Terminators will make them take that out -1 because of the free relic, so the free icon, which is great. We have a Lord of Poxes, a Lord of Virulence with Vile Vigor, so that's the extra inch move and reroll your advances.
Okay.
We got the Tallyman for 40 points in there. This is good given all the strats in this detachment are 1 CP. Then we've got 7 Plague Marines with a Plasma Gun and Power Fist on the champion, 3 times Bolt Guns, 1 Icon of Despair. So he's playing into some Battle Shocks here. Blight Launcher and Plasma Gun. Then 5 Blight Lord Terminators, Combi Bolter, Blight Launcher, Combi Weapon, and Reaper Autocannon. 3 Dash Shroud Terminators with another 3 Dash Shroud Terminators, 2 units of 10 Pox, 1 unit of 2 Spawn. And Aidan, can you guess what there's 3 of at the end of this list?
Yeah, so stream can't see it because it's cut off on the stream, but I guess it is 30 blood runs every blight launchers.
Yeah, funny enough it is.
I was surprised, look at that.
which is great. So yeah, really good overall. So yeah, interestingly in this one, there's clearly a bit of play for, like I said, for some battle shot tests going on here. Mortarion is obviously giving us the reactive move or the final death on a 2-up. He's also giving us the mortal wounds to everything at the end of, and this is the other interesting one. Remember that it's the end of the movement phase, not the end of Mortarion's move. So what you can make sure you can do is move Mortarion, put stuff into contagion, then drop things around it if you want to, and at the end of the movement phase, roll for the mortal wounds. So don't move him, roll mortal wounds, kill the unit that you wanted to drop at the end of your movement phase, and otherwise you can end up screwing yourself out of some potential getting a Death Shroud. Yeah, Lord of Contagion with Warp Rot Talisman. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm sure you all do from having read the book, but 30-point upgrade, that gives that unit once per battle, uppy downy at the end of your opponent's turn. Meaning, if your opponent goes first, you can lift them off the table at the end of their turn and then deep strike them in your turn 1. So it's a gamble, and you have to think of whether that's going to happen or whether you just want to start them off the table. Then you get a normal deep strike or rapid ingress in turn 2. And then if at the end of their phase, at the end of their turn, you're not in engagement range, you can pick them up and do it again with the same unit. So just for anyone who didn't know, that's what that does. Interesting, there's some Plague Marines in here. There's no Rhino, so that's 5 Plague Marines on foot, which I've played that version and I actually used them on my home with the Tallyman and then bought them out. The 5 Blight Lord Terminators. Aidan, what do you think of the loadout? 1 with Combi Bolter, 1 with Blight Launcher, 2 with Combi Bolters, 1 with Reaper Autocannon.
Yeah, that's fine. Again, the only thing I don't like in that squad is the flail. I don't think it tends to be worth it that much. So actually, yeah, like that loadout, that's totally fine. I think one thing I would change here, straight up Dave, would be the Plague Marine job here is just kind of to be, looks like to me, it wants to be just putting out Contagion. Please don't take the bolt guns. They are just terrible.
Yeah, take everything but.
Yeah, you only need to hit once. You will hit once with your plasma and your blight launcher. The bolt guns will do literally negative damage. They will heal your opponent, actually. Did you know that, Dave? That bolt guns heal your opponent.
I've heard, yeah.
Just take 2 heavy plague weapons in the flamer. It will get you so much more value on the odds that you have to make an odd charge. Because if you then have to make a charge in that 7-man squad with a lot of poxes in there, especially, you're going to have what 3, 6, 9 plus his 6, 15 power fist attacks. That's going to do a lot more than 3 bolt guns will ever do. That in 1 charge phase will kill more than the bolt guns will do in 5 shooting phases.
Totally agree. I when I used mine, I basically had the exact situation I talked about in the last list, which was my Tallyman to be blocking the corner, had to be off of my home objective. So I had the 5 Plague Marines just sat tucked right against the wall, and what they were there to do was to go, right, if anything sticks its head out and I need 24-inch range to just shoot, that's coming off of the middle, or basically if he brings something in on my bottom board edge, then I will just bring them out and shoot it, and then either it's going to get damaged and it's going to get hit with affliction afterwards, and then I'm either going to shoot it with something else later on, or it's going to take mortal wounds. But they certainly weren't just there running bolt guns like I wanted them to do damage, and then I actually did end up charging them into the survivors of a being brought on from reserves, and I had the heavy weapons, which just did the work.
Yeah. Now in this detachment, so this specific list, I think this might be one where you save the Warp Rot Talisman. I don't think you go for a turn 1 uppy downy. Because you've only got the 2/3 on Death Shrouds, I feel like that thing needs to come in, charge, remove something. But only because Morty's in the list, I think it's better for it to just be able to almost rinse and repeat that twice. Drop in 6, charge it, remove a threat, live for your opponent's turn, go back up into the sky, rinse and repeat somewhere else. I think that's going to be like a lot more impactful than just getting for a turn 1 charge, because in this, what I'm looking at right now, there's not enough forward pressure, and that's fine, it's not designed to be forward pressure right now, to uppy downy turn 1, because if you uppy downy turn 1, because there's no flesh mode drones or anything else to go fast forward, that means your entire opponent's army is going to shoot that 3-man, and it's going to die. Like, it will just die to the amount of shooting it takes. So I think this is one where you maybe just sit back on what you start in reserves, you drop in, charge, kill something. All the chaos is going on, Morty's in your opponent's army. That thing's not getting shot as much, then it can go back up and rinse and repeat and do the same.
And the advice I'd also give when running this detachment is looking at what you've got on here, because Terminators are so expensive, whether you've got 2 3s or the 5. You've got to make sure that also to get that 3-man down in with Warp Rot is you've got to put something in. Something's got to become afflicted, and if you're Plague Marines, for example, are doing what I said, and maybe they're sat behind your home, they're helping to shield that, or that you can't shoot the thing because you can't get the angle on it, because you're not in a Rhino, and you just simply can't get there. You've got to think about how am I going to get my opponent into affliction in order to drop down on top of them, and make sure that if they've got 2 units that are even if you put one of them into affliction, where does that 9-inch bubble from the second unit stop you actually dropping into? You've got to really think about this. Mortarian's very key in this unit, in this detachment for me, because I've talked about it before, but I kind of go fishing with one of the 10-man pox units. I start a couple of them on the infiltrate onto the center, and then I make sure that if my opponent goes, that's either an easy kill if I'm playing Purge, or it's an easy card for, I don't know, no prisoners or something, or I'm going to just come on and I've got Arid Denial, I'm just going to wipe that unit out, and then I'm on the middle. The moment they come out and they move within 9, you just tail them back in your deployment so that they are within range of Mortarion to jump back behind the wall. And then, so you don't worry about giving up the middle, just make your opponent bring something out and put it out there. So then you can next turn bring that unit out safely, because they can't be overwatched, they're starting behind the wall, and then they can push up to not only that unit, but perhaps another unit that's behind the wall of their center ruin. And then you've got a couple of units into contagion, and now you can drop down your Death Shroud where you need them. But you've got to really think about, don't get blocked out from doing that. The other thing that's interesting here is the Blight Lords. Is like, are you thinking of, are they going to be an on the table thing you want to move in advance onto for example, is the Lord of Virulence with them? So if he is, that is probably then a unit to start on the table potentially. Move, advance up to a point behind maybe some Poxwalkers that are chevroning behind an L, and then you've got something solid to hold, which you can then move off of later on. I wouldn't start too much off the table with this list, because you could look at this and go, both the 3-man's off the table, the 5-man's off the table, and suddenly there's a huge chunk of this army that is leaving gaps for your opponent to either take board control or just get in your face.
Suddenly you're looking like Gene Silical opponent.
Yeah.
I agree with Dave that I think 5-man on the board. One thing I will say here is, I think in this specific one, you're kind of waiting for that turn 2 big drop or turn 3 big drop, so don't throw away your spawn. I think that spawn's going to be very important for getting Affliction for Death Shroud Deep
Don't throw your pox away either.
Yeah, I think this is a very conservative turn 1 army, and then maybe turn 2 considering. But I think this is one of the armies where you have to expose everything all at once. You just go for it. And
that's a rule for this detachment. This detachment is a set yourself up, and then you sledgehammer your opponent into oblivion, so that you basically go, I can now score with the rest of my stuff. The blight drones also are really important. Don't be shy about using the blight drones as well to separate your kind of 18 inches, then be 17.9 from the next one, and use those guys in the first couple of turns to just shore up your screening in the backfield because they've got long range guns, they've got 36-inch range. You can still develop angles quite easily. That 10-man pox, if you stick it near your home, you spread that out, or the 5-man just string it. Your opponent's going to have other stuff to worry about. And then make sure once you get past that threat of anything they've got to bring in, then you can just be much more aggressive with the drones and bring them up as a supporting firing line. And keeping Morty forward is also key. Don't have him trapped in the backfield or behind some awkward terrain to get out. Make sure he can be part of your push. Turn one. It's like, well, not turn one. So when your go turn happens, it's really important that he's a key part of that offense.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to think if there's anything I would change in terms of just like being like
just straight out. Right.
It would be like for the 45 points wouldn't get you too much, to be honest.
No, I think Tallyman's good. I think if you are going to run the Blight Lords and you've got the Lord of Virulence with them, then Vile Vigor is important. The other reason it's important is if you start them behind the wall, like Aidan said, if you're keeping the 3-man off, you can often have Mortarion, where I said like kind of behind Central Ruin, have the 3 Death Shroud and the Blight Lords and LOV start there potentially. The extra 1 inch of movement allows you to poke out with the LOV either side of that kind of ruin to get line of sight for your blight drones to benefit from. So you can just make sure that you can hit what you need to hit by having him in that kind of more central position, as opposed to up on a flank and then suddenly there's line of sight blocking terrain that doesn't let your blight drones at the bottom get the benefits.
That's fair. All right, cool. So yeah, as for like any changes, I don't think there's like I could consider like dropping the Plague Marines down to a 5-man and cutting the Barge to Putrefire. That would get you like 35 plus 45 points. That's 80 points. I would personally do that and get a unit of spawn, just
Agree.
for that extra affliction. Because the thing is, the Barge to Putrefire has kind of negative synergy with Lord of Poxes because he makes him crit 5s, which means he gets lethal on 5s, which is not a bad thing, but it means he doesn't get to roll for death wounds as well.
It does things. Yep.
And the extra 2 Marines in here, I don't think are necessarily do too much unless you really want something specifically out of it. I think that squad with a lot of Poxes and a 5-man is just good for like sitting even on your natural objective because they got the loan up, they're not going to get shot. Mm-hmm. They're quite a scary threat in melee because they've got 15 power fist attacks because again 5-man can take the same amount of weapons. So I actually would prefer that and just have another unit in your army, another spawn, because again it's going to be able to move and advance on that big turn and sort of spread affliction. So maybe just consider that, but part of that, I quite like the list. It's quite cool. I've not really played with this detachment. It's the one I've genuinely not played a game of it yet. This one, Dave.
But this is also why we're trying, I think, to split up our focus onto the different areas so we can easily cover our bases with it. But if I'm being brutally honest, and I'm not dismissing it, but I still haven't seen a reason to take Blight Lords over Death Shroud. Is my only other big comment. I still not seen that. But just Tarja's couple of comments back to us were. What about Talisman is for dropping down the links and going back up like you said, so great. And then LOV with Blight or start on the table, advanced charge, potentially 1 CP assault. So yep, all good. But I think some of the commentary we've made there hopefully will give you some changes.
Yeah,
there's one comment I wanted to address as well, which
also go. For anyone that's maybe new listening here, there is obviously optimal lists. Now the thing we don't do on Plague Surgery is we don't have people send us lists in and then me and Dave say rip it all apart, build it all again, because that helps no one. There are people who listen to this channel who are on tight budgets and can't just go out and buy everything brilliant. And there is a million channels on the internet right now which can go and tell you an incredibly strong Death Guard build. Just go copy paste that. That is not how we work on Plague Surgery. You send us what you've got. You send us bits you got, and we'll try and change maybe just 1 or 2 bits. Because also to learn to play the game better, you will learn much better by making small adjustments to your own list rather than copy and pasting a net list. We've always said this, so just
and it's also about your play style as well. Like you're submitting lists with things, hopefully, is because they're the kind of things you want to play with. So we'll try and help you play with what you want to play with. Just wanted to answer Ventress Dark's question. Really dumb question. Just to start with, there's no such thing here. Please ask anything you want here or in Discord. Mm-hmm. Is there a way to give my Death Shroud rerolls to their hits? New to 10th edition. Only played 1 game, but my Death Shroud really struggled hard because of me and my bad rolling. So in this detachment, there is a 1 CP strat for full rerolls to hit, and that is against everything except vehicles and monsters. So absolutely, you can do that. So really good into elite infantry. If you just want to make sure you pick up Necron warriors with 48 sweep attacks, re-rolling everything, sustained lance on that unit on a big man, go for it. But that is how immediately you get it in this one. And Aiden, I'm
Champions
sure
of
there's a way
Contagion
for
has it for 2 CP, but the enemy unit has to be wounded. But it is also 4 rolls to hit and wound, that one.
Yeah,
so if you really don't trust your dice, like, I mean, COC has the Kill God combo, which is 3 command points. One gives the squad crit 5s, the second 2 give them 4 rolls to hit and wound. And we tested that again in the VT Masterclass. We rolled it against Canis Rex, and I did enough damage to kill that knight 3 times over. Fucking funny. So, Mr. Orange, don't think that Blight Lords aren't bad. The problem is right now, so don't feel bad for painting them. Death Shroud are a bit undercosted, and Death Shroud are just kind of stupid at the moment. But I think we'll see Blight Lords have a bit of a renaissance, because I would imagine what we could actually potentially see is Death Shroud go up 10 points, and we might even see Blight Lords come down 10 points. Then we're talking about right now, just because of how powerful 6-inch Deep Strike is, and 140 points is very cheap. It is so hard in a competitive mindset. Again, if you're just playing for fun or casual, or even semi-competitive, Blight Lords are fine. Like, Blight Lords are totally fine. But
they're great. They're really good. 2 damage now in melee. That's a big improvement. The other thing they would do, if they just made them 2 OC, they would have a space in so many lists.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Birchie, $5 super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Which detachment best supports a super aggro list? Take your pick. It really depends on what you want. Death Lord's Chosen can do an aggro Termi build. Virulent Vectorum can do an aggressive Plague Marines spam. I'm running 6 squads of Plague Marines at the moment. Through my Virulent Vectorum.
I'm not surprised.
5 mans and a 10 man. People just do not get to hold objectives against me anymore, which is really funny. But you can do Champions of Contagion. Can also do it.
Yep.
The only ones that don't really, like, even Taliban, because you just have a world of 6-inch Deep Strikes and be like, here, turn 2, I'm on top of you, go.
I think Taliban, and I said it in the masterclass with VT, and I think of this, I do think that Taliban wants you to play aggressive. I think it wants you to take up ball space. It wants you to take up ball control. It wants you to take up space. It wants you to be within 7 of all your units, and it wants you to push your contagion out further. So I think we're going to have fun with that. Listen, and also on Blight Lords, just to wrap up that one, I've got more than 30 on a shelf over there that I've got every weapon configuration there is. I want to put them on the table. So outside of my kind of competitive stuff, that I will be playing some lists with them in to make sure to work out how to make them work within this. And also, another thing to remember is you don't just have to make Terminators try and work inside Death Lord's Chosen. They are viable in other bits. So, that's up to all of us as a community to work it out.
There's still very, like, Toughness 9 Terminators in Cock is very good. I love Cock.
Cock is strong.
I love Cock. Yep, Cock is rock solid, you could say, with T9.
Yeah. Just nine cocks. Just nine
big cocks. That's a lot of cock. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. 50k DPM. His list is called I Have No Idea What I'm Doing. Great, thank you. Neither do I. Don't worry. This is all a ruse. You all send me.
This is a total ruse. You are just trying to lull your opponent into a false sense of security at pairings.
Yeah, 100%. Dwarf and cock. Yep, cock. Yep. So we have a Death Lord's Chosen again, Mr. Dave. Okay, do you want to take it away, Mr. Dave?
Yeah, no worries. So really interesting what this has got. So I've been working up this is a nice view, right? So Demon Prince of Nurgle in here. Great, there's going to be lots of infantry on the table. Lord of Contagion, another Lord of Contagion, so Face of Death and Warp Rot Talisman in here. Enhancement on the Lord of Virulence is Helm of the Fly King, that's Lone Op 18. Okay. Remember, everybody, that's a model-by-model basis for anyone coming in. Tallyman for CP, I think that's a good choice.
So this is super here we go. CP, and this is everything's 1 CP in detachment.
Everything's 1 CP.
So you're going to be able to spam the shit out of this.
But remember, when you've got characters that can do grenades, and then you can do Stang Shock, one after the other, 2 CP is nice to have in the pocket.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, dude. I played a game recently, and I did 30 mortal wounds across the game, with the faction ability, grenades, Stank Shock, Morty's ability doing 2-ups, like Typhus, bam. It all adds up.
That definitely does.
So this has got 5 Blight Lords, 5 more Blight Lords. 5 more Blight Lords.
Hell yeah.
2 Chaos Spawn. So 1 unit of Chaos Spawn, but 2 in there. Unit of Death Shroud in the 3. Unit of Death Shroud in the 3. Can you guess what there's 3 of?
Obviously Poxwalker's name.
Yeah, there is, but what else is there 3 of?
Is it Fetid Bludgeons and Heavy Blight Launcher's name?
Yeah, it is. You're a mind reader. So he says, as the name implies, I have no idea what I'm doing. I was running 1x10 BLTs, but it can be hard not to get out traded with such an expensive unit. Wondering if something like this will pack enough punch. Worth adding predators? Would adding predators be better? Do I group the DST together? Is the Demon Prince not helpful? I don't know, but any help is appreciated. Right. Let's get into it. Aidan, any initial comments?
So, you got a lot of Terminators, which is great. We like Terminators. So, my initial thoughts here, Mr. Dave, straight away are I am really wanting, straight up, to find a way, because you've got such good amount of Terminators here. You got 3 squads of 5, which is great there, 2 squads of Death Shroud. I would kind of, if you have the models, I'd want to reverse the order. I'd have 3 Death Shroud, 2 Blight Lords, if possible, because that also then frees me up 45 points. And I really want to find a way to find 50 points, merge 2 of these Poxwalkers and get a Typhus Poxwalker brick, because that strat is really funny. And that's also going to give you a huge anchor to the middle, with 2 Blight Lord Terminators also supporting that. And then you have 3 drops of Death Shroud to come in. And that 20 Pox and Typhus also is just really nice on your Demon Prince, because the good thing is, Demon Prince lone ups behind a wall, sorry, in the middle objective. He lone ups on there. Then you have Typhus and Co behind the wall. And then if your opponent ever tries to charge the Demon Prince to kill him, you can then heroic him with Typhus, and then just basically swarm the entire objective with OC, which prevents any other charges getting to Demon Prince as well. And again, you can use the Stank Shock stratagem on Typhus, so he's just flat 6 mortal wounded and 8, and he hits.
It's guaranteed 6.
He walks out, he smites something, he then charges it for another 6 mortal. So he's potentially doing 12 mortal wounds off Typhus alone, and then
before you get to combat.
And again, if you got, like you said, grenades in your air, stuff like that, like, or even bring a Blight drone up and get like a tank shock off, like.
That's what I mean. You can literally go mortal wounds, and mortal wounds, and now we're gonna fight.
I'd really like that, because then you've still got 10 Poxwalkers to Dogbone and home, and hold that. Plus you've got a Tallyman as well, so in those matches where it matters, you can.
That's good together. Yeah.
So you could drop the sport. Wait, so how many points will this cost me? So
this is a problem. I think you have to. I love what you just said there, but if you're going to play into that, then you need you're going to need another 10 man. I think, because otherwise, all you're putting on your natural is two spawn that have just moved out through a wall and advanced onto a point, or you've got to put 5 Blight Lords onto a.
You kind of want to push into your opponent, don't you? Yeah.
You want them pushing forward. But I'm with you. I think I would. I love the. I'd flip 3 and 2 to 2 and 3, and go the other way around. So you've got drop with the.
Because we have also got up here. We have got Face of Death. We can drop.
You can drop that. It's
it's
a nice to have. It's 10 points. It's a nice to have.
So that would give us if we swap the ratio on Blight Lord.
I'd give us 50, right?
I'd give us 55.
55, and then you've got. If you combine the Poxo, that goes up to 130 from 120.
Yeah, so leave us 10, so now it's 45 again.
45 points. You go. What else have we got in here? You need the characters.
Tallyman.
You can run this without him, but like the ability to go grenades and Stank Shock in a turn is so nasty.
Have you run Helm of the Fly King?
Yeah, and I actually don't.
Is it?
I'm contrary to popular belief, flying in the face of popular opinion. I'm not sure it's actually that useful.
Because the thing is, that you want to be in your opponent's face with attachment, right?
Yeah, I've with every time I've played this, I have gone, get my opponent into affliction, drop, and then drop everything in a go. Make that my Boncon 1 button press.
Boncon 1. We're approaching Boncon 1, boys.
Press a button, and then you drop everything. And when you do that, the unit that, in my instance, I've got 2 3s and a 6. In one of my 3s is the Lord of Virulence. He's so close anyway that 18 doesn't matter. And because he's close enough, he can see everything that I need him to do. All the bloat drones can fire into everything and get the benefit.
So how many points is that enhancement?
It's 15. I want to say. Hold on, I've got it here. I think you can live without it.
Because that would bring us up to 60 points.
The only reason to put it on him is if you are sitting him solo at the back of your field, and he's literally just standing out of cover, looking at things to give the bloat drones the benefit. That for me is the only reason to put it on him.
But if we're swapping to a third
A third Death Shroud
a
group.
third Death Shroud, then he just wants to go.
You can
solo.
have him in it, but you just don't need this. You don't need the enhancement on him.
Yeah, I think I prefer that. If that gets us another unit of Poxwalkers, for the fact that
Helmet of Fly King's 20.
Right, so yeah, so we can easily get another unit of Poxwalkers. So we swap around the Blight Lords to 3 and 2 ratio of Death Shroud to Blight Lords instead. Then we run all the Blight Lords solo. They don't need characters because again they're just there to be like almost like anvils. They just want to stand on the objectives and keep shooting away while the Death Shroud push into the opponent. And then I think we then drop the Face of Death as well. So that's 25 points right there. These guys go down. So that's 45 points plus our 25 points. That gives us, 70 points. That gets you your 10-point upgrade to make one a 20-man.
And 10-man upgrade. Yeah, so you get that. Yeah, that I think that would work better with this setup.
Yeah.
So you still get to run Blight. You still get to run 2 units of Blight Lords. You still get to push them out. Do think about what we said though. Drop the flails if you've got the configuration set up in the units. Go to just shooting, and you've got 2 damage on your weapons anyway. Just keep those on. Spewers is good. Reaper Autocannon is good. Blight Launcher is good. Perfect. Keep those in there. Then go to 3 Death Shrouds. Attach the characters to all the Death Shrouds. Drop them in. Let them do a smash work. Keep your opponent tied up, and then you've basically got these units to kind of hold points, score them, pressure your opponent.
Is basically like shepherd in the 20 points.
Yeah, and also he's lone opt anywhere because if you've got 3 units of Death Shroud on the table, 2 units of Blight Lords, a 20-man brick of Poxwalkers,
which can string out the field. Insane.
He's got lone op everywhere.
Yeah, so I think that'd be a good change. I think that's our recommendation for this list, 50k deep in, but I think it's off to a really good start. And you say you don't know what you're doing, but this list would say otherwise, in my opinion. It's very good, very good.
Yeah, and so remember what you're not getting from Morty, right? So the reason you've got Morty in the other list is the reactive move is good because you can actually chase people with Terminators in that list when they move away from you, or you can bring stuff from behind in front of him. You also get his mortar wound output, and you get the shoot a bit is irrelevant. I think in this setup with more there being 2 units of Blight Lords, actually the Demon Prince is probably a good play and gives you that mini-Tarian presence on the field and damage up front.
I'm just going to start ticking stuff off. Do you want to read out the next one then while I just start ticking so we know we've done
I just wanted to go back to a couple of bits in chat. So a Laser Chicken, Nat, thank you very much for gifting a membership. Who got that? Alan Yepes got that, so well done to you. And Prometheus Williams gifted another Disgustingly Resilient podcast and membership. And Nico Kasha got that, so well done. The Birchie just said, which detachment is we've done Super Aggro? Sorry, we've done that one. It was Jonathan Torres, $5 super chat. Thank you very much. In my champions list, I run 2 10-mans of PMs with their bus and friends. Do you think that's too much? Because the list isn't kind of in here yet, we won't go through it completely, but we talked about it earlier. They're 2 very expensive blocks. It comes down to what else you've got in your list to play around the missions, and also that you kind of use them in the right way so that you don't end up risk losing it. Because if you do lose either one of those, it's 25% of your army cost.
If you're committing that much to those 2 big bricks, make sure the rest of your army isn't too bricky. You want a lot of like even 3-man unattached Death Shroud would be great. They're fine. Like you can have 1 Lord of Contagion, but I wouldn't go any more than that. The rest of the units have to be kind of cheaper on the cheaper end, and then you'll be all right. But yeah, there.
Nice. Okay. So Strong Boys list is next. Once again, another long-time supporter of the channel. Death Guard VV. Biggest, strongest boys. Nice.
Yeah. So we've got we've got Demon Prince and Nurgle Violent Regeneration. We've got the Foul Blight Spawn tech. We've got 2 Lord of Contagions, 1 with Demon Weapon and one with Furnace of Plagues, Malignant Playcaster. We've got 2 5-man Plague Marine squads, which is interesting because normally you would see that combined into a single 10-man with the Foul Blight Spawn and the Playcaster. So we'll have to remember that and come back to it with the Rhino. 330 point Blight Lord Terminator Brick Central City. Leaderless. That's fine. I'm alright with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Again, that unit's there to be an amazing lone-up protective brick for the
100%
for the Demon Prince. Then we got Death Shroud Terminators, 2 squads of Death Shroud Terminators, likey that. Then we got a Defiler, 2 Mythic Blight Halls, and a Poxwalker unit. Right. So initial thoughts here are: so we've not got Heavy Blight Launch drones. It's a miracle. Miracle. So they're obviously just super efficient, but again, we're gonna assume you've not got any. Because you ain't got any yet. So we're going to, again, with small changes. The thing that I want to see... Oh, you've got Chaos Spawn. That is good. Okay. So
there's Chaos Spawn.
That is fine. That is fine. So we've got a midboard anchor here. We've got 2 extremely scary Death Shroud Death Squads. So what we need then is, again, the whole playstyle of Virulent Vectorum is Demon Prince goes on middle. I hold natural and middle and home. Do something to my opponent. If you don't, I win. Like, straight up. So that is a really good setup, because if someone wants to come in, they're going to get Blightlord terminated and get absolutely smacked to shit by these guys, which is really good. Now, I wouldn't be against, again, you've not got an LOV, but again, you don't have the bloat drones. That's not really an issue here as much. Now, the only thing I'm unsure on, though, is the Defiler. The reason I say this is because you have a Defiler, which is really good at stripping cover. But let's now check out your shooting options. Death Shroud, all or ignore cover anyway. Blight Haulers, their Melter is AP going to be 5 in -1 save. They don't need ignore cover. It helps the missile for sure, but okay, it's 2 missile shots. So then
the missile's always nice to have.
Yeah, the rest of the shooting we've got up here are going to be, you've got plasma guns up in these squads, but again, they're going to be AP4. Don't really care for the things they should be shooting anyway. Oh, they've got a Melter gun, that's going to be AP5. Again, don't really care. Like, stripping cover is really good for like AP2 weapons. Like, that's really magical, or even AP1. So the Blight Lords will actually like it quite a bit. But are the Blight Lords going to not just be pumping rounds into someone that's going to just drop dead anyway? Because they're going to have so many shots. So I'm not too sure on the old Defiler in this one here. I would personally rather have that Defiler turned into some more scoring / utility pieces. Potentially. Like, you could put him into a 3rd Hauler. And that gives you still 75 points to play around with. Which could then go into another unit of Poxwalkers. Because you only got 1 Poxwalkers at the moment. And in Virulent Vectorum as well, bear in mind, you have Sticky. You can turn one for 60 points, and I do this every game from now on. I dogbone a single unit of Poxwalkers across 2 objectives, because for the sake and the possibility of me getting first turn for 60 points, to Sticky 2 objectives, and then move forward, move block my opponent, and guarantee I get 15 primary turn 1, you get 0. I'm going to take that for 60 points. Yeah, they might die. I might go second, they die. But it's 60 points at the end of the day. It's not the worst thing in the world. But for the opportunity cost of if I do go first, and I sticky all 3 objectives in the middle, and then I'm just like, cool.
It's pretty good.
Again, Virulent Vectorum's entire game plan is, I hold more primer than you, because I have sticky as well. Do something about it. And that plays into that super well. So I would drop the Defiler down to like a Hauler, and then just get another unit of Poxwalkers in there, and you got some spare points so you can mess around with things. I think Poxwalker's Infiltrate and Sticky Detachment is very, very good. So I want to kind of keep that up there. Then I like the 2 5-vans we got around for them. I think these are the ones you actually use to harass your opponent's natural objective. I think once the fight starts in the middle, the Blight Lords and the Death Shroud can deal with that. But these are the guys you want to just be flipping out onto your opponent's objective, like 5 at a time. Because you can then go and basically you can protect yours with an infiltrated unit of Poxwalkers. The spawn can sort of linger up there, maybe one of your haulers can. But the center's going to be fine. You're also going to have your Blight Lords and your Demon Prince. You have rapid ingress to defend your own as well. But being able to just flip Plague Marines out. Again, imagine if you get turn 1, you stick it with those extra 10 Poxwalkers. You then walk forward and move blocks. Your opponent gets no primary turn 2. Then turn 2, they finally get onto the objective, so they're looking to score in the turn 3, and then you put 5 Plague Marines on it, and they score none again. And then you rinse and repeat turn 4, so they score primary turn 5 only. Like, that is the entire game plan, whilst you're sat in the middle of a blown up Demon Prince. So, that's probably the only change I'm going to recommend making, is I just don't think the Defiler fits in here, because the Defiler wants to be supporting either Predators or Bloat Drones.
Yeah. I agree.
So, him down to a Hauler to give you more cheap damage, and another unit of Poxwalkers, and then I think this is off to a cracking start of a list, Mr. Was it this one Strong Boy? Yeah, it's Mr. Strong Boy. So that to me is what I think I would personally prefer. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I could actually see a drop the. I went same thing as you did, was drop the Defiler because of its lack of synergy with a lot of the rest of the stuff in here. I could see putting in a Predator Destructor for the extra AP for the Blight Lord unit, or the.
Yes, I would prefer that over the Defiler. 100%.
I think that would be a better unit. You've also got 48-inch range, and on the Havoc launcher on the autocannon, you've also got then we've got heavy bolters as well to go into infantry if you want it. But then that gives you a weird 20-point balance floating around afterwards.
Yeah, what can you do with
which
that?
Is kind of which you can't really do anything with, which is a bit annoying. The only other thing you could, and you're the expert on Plague Marines here, but if based on what you just said, if it was just drop 5 Plague Marines out and harass your opponent, your expansion or whatever, would you worry about having characters with them? If you think that if that's what their role is there?
Oh yeah, because they're far blight spawn, aren't they?
Yeah, well, there's a Foul Blight spawn and a Malignant Plaguecaster.
Oh yeah, no. If you're gonna do that roll, keep him bare bones. 100%.
So drop. So you could drop both of those and the Defiler, and then suddenly you've got an actual bucket load of points to do stuff with.
That'd be 2 Predators then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but yes,
that's
it would.
120 plus 165 gets you to 285.
Yeah, that's
you're 5 points off.
You're 5 points off, which you could do by dropping one.
Drop Demon Weapon and Nurgle. You don't need it.
Yeah, you just drop that, and then you've got 2 Predators.
And then the Plague Marines are still doing the job, because again, you don't really need to kill the they're super efficient anyway, because you reroll all its wounds 1 CP. They will kill 5 Marines with that. You can also grenade if you need to. Trust me, I've been doing it. And then and even if it's something you can't kill, you just sit 10 OC on the objective and go, cool, you don't hold it, I win.
And they're putting things into Affliction that you just shoot. And if they're near something, they're putting it into Contagion for Affliction to drop your Death Shroud onto.
Yeah, so if it's something really troublesome you need to get off an objective, you just walk up, put them in Contagion, there you go, drop down, kill it.
Yeah, I think in this instance, having 2 Predators to harass, add extra AP to all your other shooting. Obviously not into vehicles and monsters, but
Death Shroud love it, because that's now -2 flavors.
Light Lords
love it, because now they're AP2 bolters like that. Even like the haulers can like be okay with that, like, because then it makes your frag missile AP2, and that can then kill guardsmen decently at that point. And then also your Rhino actually really liked it hilariously, because then
he likes it
AP2 on those bolters and have a clutch and kill guardsmen pretty easily,
which is brilliant. So I think
that's
the other angle.
I like that a lot. So that's a great shout there. So yeah, I think that'd be my recommendation for that one, Mr. Strongboy. Thank you very much for sending that in. So we've probably got time for one more tonight, I think, Mr.
Yeah,
Dave.
let's do one more.
Again, don't worry. I'm going to be doing another one midweek next week. There's obviously going to be an influx right at the start. We'll try and get for as many as we can. If we get a crazy amount, we'll maybe start picking out ones that we aren't like some we've covered before, because some people might submit similar lists, and you can obviously listen to each other's and understand that. But please be understand, there is only 2 of us here, and time is time. We don't have all the time in the world, unfortunately. Again, make this my full-time job. I'm more than happy to do this all the time.
Exactly. Just get another 500-600 people as members, and Aiden can do it more often.
Exactly. Seeker of Secrets just upgraded. Thank you very much for upgrading, mate. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Flyblown goodness amongst all of the Victorians. A Flyblown host. Hell yeah.
Brilliant to add it in.
Okay. So we've got a. Do you want to read this one out there? I need to nip for a Nurgle time on the Golden Throne, if you understand what I mean.
Or natural. Yeah, no worries.
2 seconds.
Aiden's going to his natural expansion objective. So we are looking at Flyblown Host. We're looking at 1,985 points. We've got 15 points spare at the top of the list already. We have got a Demon Prince of Nurgle, which is great, no enhancements. We've got the Lord of Contagion with Insectile Murmuration. We have got a Lord of Contagion with Rejuvenating Swarm. So he's going to be healing back up. We've got Lord of Virulence, Droning Chorus. We've got a Tallyman with no other enhancements on him. So we've got 1, 2, 3, so 5 characters, classic Death Guard list. 5 Plague Marines, looks like usual loader. Oh, an Icon of Despair, okay, for -1 leadership. Interesting. We've got another 5-man, another 2 5-mans. Have we got Rhinos? 5-man Terminator squad, a 3-man Death Shroud squad, a 3-man Death Shroud squad, 10 Poxwalkers, 20 Poxwalkers, 10 Poxwalkers, and 3 Heavy Blight Lodger Drones. Wow. Okay. Interesting. So we've got my immediate thing is obviously you're probably counting on the scout for all of the Plague Marines to kind of get you forwards. So I guess it's going to be quite an aggressive push on the Plague Marines to get them forward. They are. Yeah, the lack of a Rhino is potentially interesting here. I was just saying, Aiden, so we've got 5 characters. Mm-hmm. We've got it's in Flyblown, remember? So we've got 4 5-man units of Plague Marines.
Okay.
So I was saying, but no Rhinos. So I was saying
okay.
probably relying on the scout and the move and advance to get into places pretty quick, and with probably a bit of staging. A 5-man Blight Lord unit, 2 3-man Death Shroud units, a 10-man Pox, a 20-man Pox, another 10-man Pox, triple Heavy Blight Launcher drone. So it's going to be a very mobile list. It's got Demon Prince of Nurgle, a Lord of Contagion, a Lord of Virulence, and a Tallyman.
Right. Okay. So
we're already starting with 15 points in the bag.
Right. So we're already looking at having the Lord of Contagions going with the Death Shroud, I'm going to assume. Lord Virulence going with the Blight Lord Terminators.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So, 10 pox, 20 pox, 10 poxwalkers. So we've got some infiltrating pressure there. We have got a Demon Prince, which is going to be lone ops as well, moving up. The 5-man... I really don't like walking 5-man Plague Marines.
Even with Scout.
Even with Scout. I don't know. It just, for me, it's just not going to be efficient. Like, for example, we drop one 5-man Plague Marine squad, and now I know 2 of my 5-man Plague Marine squads are going to make it to my opponent's natural. So I'm just going to set that Rhino up in a staging area and flip primary all the time.
Yeah.
And again, this is an attachment that wants to attack the scoreboard. So, like, I would happily trade that out rather than trying to walk at least. I would cut a 5-man Plague Marine. Yeah, you need a Rhino. Like, you can walk one because that guy can just scout towards your natural and go sit on it.
Yeah, he can get there. Then get there fine.
I'm fine with that, but the ones that you want to be aggressive with on sort of like, because again, you want to keep your opponent's score low, which means your main priority targets are their natural objective and keeping them in the deployment as much as possible. So the Poxwalkers are there to do that job of keeping your opponent in the deployment, but flipping primary is kind of where you want the Plague Marines, and you would just be able to do that so much easier with a with a Rhino in there.
Yeah,
so that would be like an instant choice, and that would give us 10 points spare. We've already got how many points from the list, Dave?
Already got 15 points in the bag from the list build.
We've already got 15 points.
So we're 25. We're 25 points up now.
25 points in. Now you could, at that point, because I mean we could technically try and like, we've already got a Tallyman there. Do we want the Tallyman here? I don't think this detachment needs a Tallyman and a Demon Prince.
I was literally going to say controversial take, but I don't think Flyblown needs a Demon Prince.
I don't think it needs a Demon Prince, to be honest with you. But I also,
like you said, it's scoring, right? It's basically pressure and it's replacing OC and getting around quickly.
Yeah.
It's not killy. It's not. Well, it is, but not versus some of the others.
So the thing is, the Demon Prince has no synergy fight. It can't use any of the strats, can't use any enhancements, and it can't use the detachment rule. It has no synergy at all. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you don't always put something in there, but the thing is, the Demon Prince in Virulent Vectorum. So think about it this way: as what Dave just said there, the entire plan of Flyblown. Vectorum is an anathema to Flyblown. Virulent Vectorum. The reason you take the Demon Prince is because I sit on more than you, and you say to your opponent, do something about it. Flyblown says, you don't sit on anything, do something about it.
Yeah.
It's a very different playstyle. So the Lone Up Demon Prince doesn't actually do any work in stopping your opponent getting to an objective or scoring. He just wants to sit on an objective and then make your opponent make bad trades. But this isn't looking to trade. This is looking to stop your opponent scoring in the first place. So I think he's the weakest link here. And if you really want to use him, you can. Like, I'm not going to say don't use him, but I would potentially like consider putting 195 points, because that's a lot of stuff you can get for that 195 points. And
you know what? Sorry, I jump in there. What I'd love to actually say is, given that he's got 120 man in here, I would assume you're already looking at that 20 man to either. I would personally, in Flyblown, be looking at that to just block my opponent. Like, I would actually quite happily potentially even drop that Demon Prince, take another 20 man, and then basically just go deal with that. And now, to your point, I'm now going to sit on everything else, and you've got to come and take it off me with the amount of OC I'm going to have sat here.
Yeah, so I would actually go. You could cut him, put in another 70 points there, so that leaves you with how many there, Dave?
125. And then we've got 15. We've got 15.
So we've got 140 points 40. There. That then gives you a Rhino easily. And leaves you how many points after the Rhino
55?
there? 55. So
55.
Then 55 points. Is there anything?
And if you don't think you need the tally man, that gets you actually 95 points.
Yeah, which would then be another full
another spawn, unit. Or another Plague Marine unit,
which you could just recycle and spam. So I don't know if you know what recycling is. Me and Dave will know.
Or it gives you 2 rhinos, and then you've got both units in. You've got 2 5-mans in each rhino. That
is true, but I kind of want to make.
It's a bit of a yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. No, you're right.
The scout is such a weird rule. I think that would probably be better though, because the other thing is the good thing about Flyblown Host is you've got the weird like detachment stuff, but the permanent stealth on Plague Marines and the T6 gets them to be really. I've had so many so many times opponents want to shoot a T6 Marine and they just don't kill it. They expected to kill it, but instead like 2 models have lived. And that 4 OC usually is like enough to like hold an objective.
Yeah.
Because people just like 3 OC on it from like a vac tank or something. So the stealth on top of that kind of like makes this like even worse. Now, I think I would still just run the 1 Rhino, because what I'd just do is I'd park that Rhino somewhere and then shoot out a 5-man to an objective and then get another 5-man and take the spot of the 5 guys that just got out. And you can just recycle 3 squads like that. You can just have 1, 2, 3. Now this has what? Is it 5 squads or 4 squads? So yeah, you send 1 up to your natural objective.
Yep.
You could also send the 1 on your natural objective with those spare points, Dave. Give them a foul blight spawn, give them all melee weapons, and now they can sit on that objective and just be like, cool, we hold this.
Yeah, come at me.
And you just don't have to worry about it, because they can't advance up to you and shoot you because you can't advance. If they want to come charge you, they're going to get fight firsted.
Yep.
So that would actually also be pretty good. So yeah, I think we drop the Demon Prince. So we use 70 of those points to get another 20 brick Poxwalkers. Gives us 125 points left. We then get a Rhino that gives us 40 points left. But then we also have the detachment.
15.
We've got 15. Yep. There's 60. There's your foul blight spawn.
Yeah, perfect.
That is literally like bang on. That would make so many like that would make me like this so much more impactful.
And it gives that's nice.
And it has a game plan. It has a game plan. It's got the 20 Poxwalkers to try and keep locked in deployment. You've got your 5-man Marines that are going to recycle out of a Rhino to keep flipping primary, and then your Death Shroud and your Blight Lords come down and actually deal some damage.
Yeah, like it.
So I think that's what we're going to recommend for that one there. So thank you very much for submitting that one, Mr. Seeker of Secrets, as well.
Thank you.
Right.
And thank you for upgrading as well.
Yeah, thank you as well. So don't worry, everyone else who haven't got to yours yet. We will be back. We will go through some more. Do not worry. We're trying to get through them as much as possible. Again, we just, when we get talking, we like to make sure we feel like you're getting value. We don't just want to be like, yeah, it looks good, next.
We're not spending 10 seconds on it.
Yeah, we want to make sure you get an actual like chat on it. So yeah, why does it just tick there? Okay, tick this one. Just tick the first half. There we go. Right, okay, so anything you want to sort of mention before we sort of head off here, Dave, before we wind down?
Just that, Brent Ashby, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Hey boys, what is the use case for any amount of PBCs outside of Mortarian's Hammer? I love the model. I would quickly say that I love the model. I think they're great. I would love to have a reason to put them back in at 195 points. They are very expensive for what is a incredibly swingy bonus ability. If they were, I think they need to come down in price by actually quite a big chunk for it to be valid. The 12-inch gain on the entropy cannons is very, very welcome, but I don't think that should have really gone away to start with. So I don't really see that. I don't see that as an upgrade.
I think the problem is Mortarian's Hammer just makes them so much better, because it makes them be able to abuse their indirect so much more effectively, because you just go
turn
contagion.
One.
Start shooting it. One thing I could potentially see is if you go for just like a really like hull spammy list, because like Virulent Victorium can still support them. Like they still got access to -1 damage, which makes them much more resilient to like mass 2 firepower or mass 3 firepower even. They like that. And then you could just go like super aggressive with it. But it's hard to argue, because the natural home for that thing is just Mortarian's Hammer currently at this point. Like they find their home really well in that detachment. Gives them all the tools you need to make them actually be great for the points. So I think it's hard to say outside of Mortarian's Hammer. Virulent Victorium is just good generically for any Death Guard detachment. It's unit agnostic, it doesn't mind. But yeah, outside of that, it starts to struggle. Champions of Contagion doesn't really give it anything. So yeah, I'd have to say Virulent Victorium is probably your best bet outside of Morty's Hammer. And also thank you very much, Taj, for the gifted membership there as well, mate. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. And another one, bloody hell. Thank you so much, man. Giving it. Roland, make sure, by the way, I keep seeing you saying you're not getting gifts. You have to make sure you have gifts enabled. So make sure you have that as an option. If you go to Google and just make sure and type in like how to enable gifted memberships to receive them, because you can't, or unless you've enabled it, you won't be able to get a gifted membership. So make sure you've got that enabled. Just a quick one. And thank you as well, Mr. Rambo, as well for a membership. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been great tonight. You've all been super supportive. Thank you so much.
I guess the only other things I just want to mention are basically the dice are back in stock.
Yes.
So hit Baron of Dice, link in the description down below. Pick up your dice from us. If you are in fact, shipping I think on the first order is free with them, and then they've actually got a 15% sale still on right now, which I think actually covers our stuff as well, because they're funding that, which is great. So do it. And the other thing you can do if the shipping is a repeat order, Aiden's done it, I know, is just speak to people in the Discord and perhaps get a few of you together, get the dice delivered to one person, and then sort it out internally. It'll be cheaper than...
That's what we did for some UK people.
It's cheaper than the shipping. And then just finally, I know I'm not wearing any of our stuff tonight, but do head on over to drpstore.com where you can pick up some merchandise, rep the channel just by wearing it. That's the main reason we've built it, is to see people out there wearing it. And if you do have some of our merch and you are happy to, please share pics of yourself wearing it, drop it into the Discord. We'd love to see you guys wearing our stuff at events, around the house, wherever it is.
Yeah, I believe they're working on the round corners, aren't they, Dave? I believe.
Yeah, and those should be coming into stock.
June.
They should be coming into stock as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but hey, stop hating on those
Basil,
square. I have square corners. Don't you hate on my square corners?
Don't you hate on them? They were lovely. So.
But yeah, so keep an eye out on the channel.
That was a 6. I just dropped. I have some mindfully just dropped in.
So. Hell yeah. So also for Death Shroud and Blightlord members, Natalie has put up her first painting guide on the Discord for some rotted Hoxwalker skin. I'll give a quick little preview to anyone that's sort of like maybe seen it. So let me just go to the Discord here, Dave, and let me real quickly.
Yeah, okay, man.
It's the painting tutorials. So as you can see there, that is the first painting guide there. Oh, sorry.
Very nice.
I can't see it on this side. There you go. So you get that effect there. So it's nice, easy, simple to follow guide. So if you want some little vibrant Poxwalker skin and you're part of the Death Shroud, make sure you go and check that out. We are going to have a giveaway going up very soon. We have 2 packs of the new Games Workshop dice, Dave. The new Death Guard dice, the purple and green ones. So we've got 2 packs of them to give away. We'll probably do another Warhammer voucher, which we always do for 20 quid. Giveaway there, and I think we're trying to make something else, and Natalie is going to be putting up her painting competition soon for all members.
Yes, can't wait to see that.
Yeah, we've already got some pin rewards. We've got some armies and parade pins. God knows where we managed to grab them from. Definitely didn't steal them. So we got some pins to give away and some other prizes to go with that. So there will be a first, second, and third, and then we'll also might even do a best conversion. So if you've converted your model and we like it, that might get a special like little mention. So. Yeah, keep an eye out for those announcements coming up soon. I will try and get an infection critical video up either tomorrow or the day after if I want to wait for Monday results to come in. Death Guard giveaway, yeah, I can put the giveaway up tonight. That's fine. I can put the giveaway up tonight. Now
Amazing.
We'll do that. So again, if you remember, keep an eye on the Discord. Make sure you're in the Discord, and then the giveaway channel. You just have to react to the little party popper that is on the post when it goes up. I think that's everything for me.
Yeah, I think so. I think I just want to add is that just remember that if you are in here and you remember, like, you can upgrade now to a couple of different tiers. We've added those. We are going to be doing the painting competition. We're going to be doing the painting guides that are coming out. We've just covered all 7 of the detachments in total in the codex. There's tons of content to go back and watch if you haven't watched it. We've got dice out there. We have got interviews coming with prominent members of the community as well as authors in the world of 40k. We're going to be doing some Crusade content coverage. Hopefully you guys can see that we're really trying to push and broaden out the content that we're doing for the channel. So please continue to like, comment, subscribe. And as much as it's great, please gift memberships. But if you have been thinking about it
they'll be asking for us to start 30k Death Guard content.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, that would be.
Well, the other thing they're going to get anyway is I think there's probably going to be some other Chaosy bits dropping fairly soon, maybe.
Yeah, I need to chase. I know he's recorded. He's just gonna. I think he's just editing it because he's new to it. But yeah, we'll make sure that. So yes. So enjoy.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some combo videos up and stuff soon as well. So there's plenty of stuff to come out. Remember to do the detachment tier list, but tier lists have changed all the time. Because I don't know if you've seen this, Dave. Very quick before we go off. We reported the Hellbrutes as like not great tier, and a German teams event. Now it's teams, which is very different to singles. Just went really well, and they were running 3 Hellbrutes in an absolute all the cheap hull spam.
Amazing.
It was like 3 bloat drones, 3 heavy bloat drones, 3 haulers, 3 Hellbrutes. So might be good for the wrong reasons though. It might just be because it's cheap. So yeah, that would be.
Well, we did say when we did the tier list, let's come back to it in 3 months and see what the hell, see whether we were in any way right or whether the meta's shaken out in a different way. So
exactly,
I'm super excited for Leeds. That for everyone, that's a super major in the UK for us that we're all going to be at, which is going to be fantastic. And just seeing we've got Space Wolves dropping, Emperor's Children just dropped, we've got World Eaters just dropped, we've just dropped, and there's more on the horizon. So the game is in a really interesting place, and we get all the new cards and the new missions in the next couple of weeks as well.
Exactly. So it's going to be an exciting time for us, and it's going to be. There's no shortage of content coming up. We will keep doing our best. Like I said, even maybe battle reports and all that stuff. So for now, everyone though, take care. thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you for all love, like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, though. Hit that little
like and
thumbs
subscribe.
up. It really helps us out more than you think. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. We try and also have a bit of fun while we're doing it. So until next time, everyone, take care, stay rotten. We'll catch you all on the next episode, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
And I always forget the button.
In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Great wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarian stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The legion reborn, their fate revealed. Rise in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Jagged blade meets the Plague-born. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born, Mortarian's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarians fall, Typhus ascends, the death god song, it never ends.